It's one of those moments in your life that when you look back at it and reflect on that kind of thing, it's like having your first date or getting married or the birth of a child. This was one of those moments in my life that really made things very different for me. And so when I reflect back on that, I know very clearly now that so much of who I am as a person and as a leader, so much of what I have, I owe to Emery and to Tony, and that moment in time that happened back in January of 1999.
Long and short of it is, what a breath of fresh air. We actually had a financial guy in Emery that had a personality and had a sense of humor, which to me is kind of unique. Sometimes financial guys are kind of dry and to themselves, but Emery just a very outgoing person, and again, his sense of humor is second to none. You just enjoy working for the guy.
Emery is a real cool hand. When things were tough, when tough decisions had to be made, when I needed to talk with someone about something that was important and critical or delicate, he was always steady as a rock. Sometimes he comes across as being funny and lighthearted, and we love that about Emery and always will. But he taught me patience, I think, and how to address a problem coolly and calmly. He was very good at that. And most people don't see that side of him.
As much as we tease Emery about his little calculator from 1965, that man's intelligence in finance is bar none.
Managing that whole ESOP thing was huge. That has to be a huge footprint that he would have put, on Showplace, because there's a lot that was involved with that.
As Emery has always been there to encourage me, and he's always there to listen, and he kind of gives you that guidance, but also lets you kind of learn your way as well.
Emery's going to be probably tougher for me to have go than Tony, because Emery's kind of a confidant to me. He's like my older brother, and I've been there for him through many things in his life, and he's been there for me. So yeah, it's going to be weird not to have him here.
He likes to be a jokester, most definitely. Our most recent HR challenge with Emery, he was trying to be a little funny with a coworker or with an employee, and we were having a health fair, and what he decided to do is we were giving little shots of apple cider vinegar away, and Emery thought, oh, it's going to be funny, I'm going to bet somebody if they take 3 shots of apple cider vinegar. And that employee went home sick that day.
Emery also brought up, he says, we've talked a lot about the family relationship, and that's true here. He says, it's not like we sit around naked by the fire singing Kumbaya. And everybody kind of looked at each other and went, where'd that come from? Can you say that? So anyway, it was a really lighthearted moment, and again, even in that state, everybody knew that this was just kind of a funny way to reference that this is a family here.
We decided that I was going to take over the 401k manual, get that off his plate, and I needed to have more interaction with that anyway. So I said, well, can you give me the 401k manual? And he's like, oh yeah, and he opens up his credenza, and there's just stacks and mounds of papers. And so that was my exposure to his organizational skills.
Whenever Emery's around, it's going to be a good time. Accounting meetings aren't fun in general, but with Emery, he always brings a sense of humor. He always brings a lighthearted nature to every meeting. But at the same time, I think he's you know, he's probably one of the most shrewdest people I've ever been around. It's just that he has that aw shucks mentality, so that you don't think he knows what he's doing, but he knows what he's doing.
Emery's gifts is not only does he like things to be fun, but he can poke fun at himself. He can see the funny things about himself. I know that one of the big things that we always joke about is his handwriting skills, which are non-existent. Typically when he writes things, the first question somebody's going to ask is, what does that say?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Oftentimes you can't tell what he wrote. He always kids that he writes with his elbow.
Emery has perhaps the worst penmanship of anyone that I've ever met. Because he doesn't write with his fingers, he writes with his whole arm and shoulder. And even when he signs his name, it's kind of a signal of his whole body in motion to get the pen on the piece of paper.
His handwriting won't be missed. We kind of have to decode Emery's handwriting once in a while, and a lot of people like to joke around with him when it comes to that. But I still think we'll miss it. Maybe we need to have him write us one last note before he leaves.
You enjoy those grandkids as much as you can, which he does now. Calls them the brats, and he smiles, and there's just love that it just exudes when he says that. Enjoy those grandkids. Enjoy the time you have with all of them. Cherish every moment. Don't look back, just look forward.
Well, you know, Emery's got his cars, he's got his car buddies, you know, he's got a great partner in Carol. You know, Emery and Carol together are both car enthusiasts, and you know, they have a group down in Phoenix where they'll be wintering who are car enthusiasts, and they got the place up in Minnetonka, and they got the grandkids. So as long as the grandbabies are still there, I know that Emery will be happy, and as long as his car buddies are still there, Emery will fade off into the sunset and be a happy camper, per se.
Oh gosh, I wish him the absolute best. I mean, he's just a lovable guy, he really is, and very kind, very generous, never cranky, just always really upbeat, and like I said before, he's very calm nature, and wish absolutely the best for him. He's contributed a lot to this organization, and he's made an impact on my life as well, so I wish him the very best.
You know, it just hit me that I didn't thank Emery for the opportunity he gave me 10 years ago. You know, I was moving from California. I moved 1,750 miles. And Emery gave me this opportunity to come here, not only to this area, but to this company. I'm grateful for that. I mean, I really am.
I hope he finds a way to keep himself busy and happy, because I know if he's not busy, I don't think he'd be happy. But it sounds like he has a lot of things going on with his working on the house, and he's always got his cars to work on and the boat. So sounds like he's setting himself up for good happiness, and I hope that comes for him.
I would just want to thank Emery for the encouragement that he's given me. It's definitely helped me personally in my career and where I'm at with Showplace. And I also want to let him know that he's greatly going to be missed. He's never going to be forgotten. And I want him to enjoy his retirement. I always tell him, because I know he's a little nervous about it, I've heard that once people do it, they never look back. And we're going to be okay here at Showplace. And we got great people coming up, and I think that he'll be able to enjoy it and no worries.
He always had kind of a personal stake in wanting you to do well, and you knew that. Anybody who works for him knows that he wants the best for you. That's genuine, and you know it, you feel it.
In some way, he is the patriarch of the business and our business family. Not just because he's older than the rest of us, but also because he's got all this experience in running businesses. But we always looked up to him for guidance that way, to be the mentor. I've worked with Tony since 1979, longer than anyone here. He and I have been together this long. I've known him longer than I knew my own father. And so when you talk about the patriarch or the father figure, he's more than just a friend and a business associate to me. Having a relationship that spans that many decades is something that's very rare, and something, of course, that'll never happen to me again. It's another one of the reasons why I owe him so much.
Different people have different views on what makes a good leader. To me, it's honesty, integrity, and treating people like you want to be treated yourself. And those are the qualities that Tony had. He wasn't going to pull any punches. If you screwed something up, you were going to hear about it. It was plain and simple. On the other hand, if you were doing things right, you were going to hear about that too. So you couldn't ask for anything more fair. Simple as that.
Very smart individual. He knows how to make things work one way or another, and he surrounds himself with good people, makes good decisions. I think everything he's touched has been something that has worked out well for him. So he's just a very intelligent man.
He lives and breathes what he's doing, and when he gets involved in something, then he's there till it's seen all the way through.
I think if anyone knew how many things Tony was working on any given day, it'd probably blow you away. If you've ever been in a meeting with him sometimes, he can be handling a complex conversation about the company, but his phone will be ringing and dinging, there'll be things going on. And I think Tony just always will be that type of person.
Best. I can't thank either of them enough for the opportunity that they gave me here. Now, I gotta get my grip on things here. but they gave me an opportunity that I would never have had otherwise in my career, and I'll be forever grateful for that.
I don't think he has the ability to go small. He had 8 kids, for crying out loud. So, yeah, when he gets involved with something and he's passionate about it, it's always going to be big.
Well, he named our second child, so that was hilarious. He's just been a friend before a boss, but because we've been with him for so many years, he's like my second dad.
Short of probably my father, he's an example for me. And everything I've done is built on him. So, my job, my profession, my family, all of that, leads back to Tony. So I think it's easy to see that it means a lot to me.
And here's Scott Corsten, who's been kind of like a son to me. And I was kind of hurt by that at the time, because I thought, really? I said, that's it? All these other people are doing all this great work at the company, but I'm like a son to you? And it really didn't take too long after that when I was really thinking about it. And I thought, that's probably the best compliment he could give me. Well, I think the beauty about Tony and supporting the community is that his motivations are pure. He does things in the community because he knows it's the right thing to do. He's not motivated by what he's going to get out of it. And I think that part of it, both Marilyn and I have absorbed that. That's become a part of our DNA, and that we don't go out looking to become a part of things in the community because it's going to do something for us. We do it because it's the right thing to do, and that is in every way, shape, and form a result of being connected with Tony.
Tony holds a very special spot in my heart. Both my boys were in the military and were over in Iraq. You know, we had just opened up the company here in 2000. So they're both overseas at the same time, and you know, it's around Christmas time, and Tony comes up and he presents, tells me we're going to do something for your boys when they come back. And what the company had done was they had a $500 line of credit to go shopping and do something for themselves. And for my wife and myself, you know, we're going through a difficult time at that point. It just, it meant everything. And that's the type of individual Tony was. He liked to get people involved, he liked to take care of people. So, very special man.
South Dakota Salutes was his idea, and he's planning to invest more of his time and energy into that if it's possible. I don't know how it's possible because he was pretty invested, but I know he wants to see that become something more significant. Again, because it's the right thing to do. That's his whole mantra. He does things because they're the right thing to do.
You know, South Dakota Salutes. We just know that that's going to explode and become a very large event. He just doesn't have the ability to go small. He's always believed that you give, you're charitable, but you don't take a lot of credit for that.
And then when I started to work for him, I mean, the thing that stands out about Tony, it is about running a cabinet company, but it's more than that with Tony. It's how you look at the community you live in, what you believe in as a person, you know, what your morals are, how you're fair with everybody you deal with. Partnerships are at the top of his list. And, you know, when you put that all together, he's just, you know, he's kind of the total package.
I think everything that we compete in, he's pretty much beat me in all of them. So my wallet's a little thinner because of him.
Tony doesn't have a competitive bone in his body, trust me. No, Tony likes to compete, he likes to bet. He's a New England fan, I'm a Steelers fan, so we had a little deal going on there with all the deflate gate and all the other stuff that New England tries to get away with. You know, it's all fun.
My dad's a pretty savvy shot. At 78 years old, he can still nearly break 100 in a row. Emery has a good time shooting, gets to shoot just as many bullets, maybe hits a little less targets.
If he loses, you have to play again usually, or he'll get back to you one way or the other if he loses. In shooting, rarely. The numbers game is purely luck, so sometimes, but he has his way, I don't know, he's lucky, and he wins a lot of those too.
It's one of those things I'm not worried about Tony retiring. I know Tony's involved in so many different things. He isn't going to be bored for 1 minute of his life. And even if Tony didn't have a lot of things to keep him busy, I know Lorraine has a lot of things lined up to keep him busy. And so
I hope it's a very long retirement for him, and I hope he gets to do all the things that he wants to do. I know he has a lot of interest, and he keeps busy with all of them. So I hope it's all relaxing for him.
Long and healthy and happy. I don't have to say stay busy because we all know that Tony will stay busy. Relax a little bit. I think, I don't know that Tony ever totally relaxes. I mean, I've seen him, I've been around him a lot, hunting and golfing and fun things, and he relaxes. But he's always engaged, and he's always, if he's working a deal or he's talking, but you know, maybe that's what keeps him young and keeps him active.
Hey, I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me in my life personally, and everything that you've done for all the employees at Showplace. Without you, we wouldn't be where we're at today. You've taken a lot of risk from the company, developing this company, and you've impacted many lives here at Showplace. which will never be forgotten. And you hold a very precious place in my heart, and I wish you the best.
Tony Emery, just want to wish you a happy retirement. We're going to all miss you here, and just enjoy yourselves and make sure you come back and visit us often.
Happy retirement, Tony and Emery.
Happy retirement, Tony. Why you also retire, Emery? And you too, Emery.
Happy retirement, Tony and Emery.
Have a great retirement, Tony and Emery. Best of wishes from the Corners Department.
Happy retirement, Tony and Emery. Have a great time.
Tony and Emery just want to wish you the happiest of retirement. You will be missed, and come back and visit us. Take care.
Hi, Tony, Emery. We're going to miss you a lot. Hope your retirement is everything you hoped it would be. Congratulations.
Happy retirement, Tony and Emery. I wish you the most luck in the whole wide world, but I'm jealous. I wish I could be retiring right now, but I guess we all can't. Somebody's got to stay here and work.
Well, Emery and Tony, thank you for being a part of the start of this company, and wish you the best of luck in the future, and I hope to see you around.
I suspect that that's going to be difficult to not come to work and say hi to Emery and to visit with Tony, and to know that we can call out into the hallway and the other guy is going to hear us. That's going to be difficult for me. The team is changing. I guess what's exciting for me now, even though these two great friends are leaving, is that there's an opportunity for us now to grow a new group, and I'm going to be a part of that.